And Bruce, I'm down here under this bridge on Highway 236 for a couple reasons. The first is to show you just how close this logjam is getting to these support columns underneath the bridge. And the second, well, that's just to show you how massive this logjam is. And each one of these 146 cones marks a death last year. The kicker, they're all drivers. That's because almost 90% of all the fatalities last year were caused by the motorists themselves, which law enforcement says were almost entirely preventable. Bruce, and you can see it right behind me here. They're still moving those vehicles away. That's the very back end of one of the last tow trucks there. And as police are sifting through these cars, they're also sifting through quite a bit of evidence, a lot of that weapons that they are still finding here at the scene. We'd like to be out at the search scene for you in Bruceville, Eddie, but with hundreds of officers, helicopters, horses, ATVs, and K-9 units, the search area is just too big, and we don't have a specific lead but where that shooter is right now. Well, Bruce, and these gangs have deep ties to the criminal underworld, usually dealing in hardcore drugs and prostitution from coast to coast. And as investigators dig deeper, we're learning more about the effect these gangs may be having on the everyday easy riders. The scene is cleared, the evidence is collected, and we're now learning more about these deadly and dangerous gangs.
It's entirely a criminal element. It's organized crime.
Of the 5 gangs involved Sunday afternoon, the blame is falling on the Bandidos and the Cossacks outlaw biker gangs. Both have ties to the criminal underworld, but the Bandidos are described as some of the most dangerous riders on the highway. They call themselves one-percenters, a nod to the notion that 99% of bikers follow the law, and they do not.
People don't join those organizations because they want to ride motorcycles. They join those organizations because they're criminally active enterprises, and by being a member of them, you can profit substantially.
And that criminal activity can reach farther than a crime scene, affecting everyday clubs and riders, forcing them to fight a stigma of violence and fear.
They're concerned about coming down here and being harassed because they've got their vest on.
Robert Carter founded the Waco chapter of the American Legion Riders. He says despite their work with veterans and patriotic celebrations, the image of the dangerous biker is difficult to shake.
At a spot they go, uh-oh, because we got our black vest on, we got our chains on our vest, we got stuff. But then once they realize who we are, it's a lot easier.
Members of the 36th Engineering Brigade spent the morning getting in and out of suits that are designed to keep them safe for the next year.
I will tell you, I have a lot of confidence in the ability of this protective equipment to protect me and my soldiers from the Ebola virus.
450 engineers, doctors, soldiers are getting ready to take on an outbreak that has killed nearly 4,000 people so far.
You never know what you're going up against until you actually get there.
Putting on the full Tyvek suit is a long 15-step process. Now all these suits here you see behind me are the ones soldiers were trying on today to make sure that holes like these didn't end up on their suits while they were over in West Africa. Getting the suits on isn't about speed, it's about security. Soldiers use a buddy system to make sure suits, masks, boots, and 2 sets of gloves are on tight and free of holes.
We rely on each other, we're there for each other, and we're always watching each other's backs to make sure they're safe, they keep us safe, and I mean that's a big priority, big concern.
The deployment has caused some political controversy, but today Governor Rick Perry only had words of thanks for the men and women who are putting themselves in harm's way.
Know that you're on the tip of the spear in a very, very important duty, a role that will make a difference.
Fears about a disease never seen in the U.S. until recently have plagued soldiers and their families. But those fears, we're told, are overpowered by their pride.
I told them that I was heading to Africa to build up some hospitals for the sick people there.
What do they think?
They think Daddy's a hero.
And today, White thanked her online supporters, and just like in her response yesterday, she had some pretty choice words for the naysayers. So I sat down with her in her office this afternoon to talk about the backlash and what she was really saying online. On January 29th, Texas Muslim Capital Day, State Representative Molly White made this post on Facebook, instructing staffers to ask Muslim visitors to her office to denounce Islamic terror and announce allegiance to the United States and its laws. She also had placed an Israeli flag on her desk, the post creating an enormous buzz of support and backlash online. You're a freshman representative in Austin this year. Did you expect this kind of post to garner this much attention?
Well, no.
What were your
I
reactions?
thought it was just with my constituents, and it was people responding outside of my district and just went viral.
In a response on February 3rd, White says the post was sent out after she learned the Council on American Islamic Relations registered to attend the celebration at the Capitol, saying the group was listed as a terrorist organization by the United Arab Emirates.
That sends red flags up for me.
The U.S. State Department does not recognize this group as a terrorist organization. Sure. My question here is since when did the policies and laws of another country affect those here in the United States and in Texas?
They affect me. I was concerned.
And White says the rest boils down to political opinion.
The previous administration was very informed about CARE and who they were and who represents them and what they represent. And this administration, if they care not to do that, that's their business. And White said that she's moving forward from this controversy with some hopeful appointments to the Veterans Affairs Committee and the State Committee on Homeland Security. And if you'd like to see that full interview, that'll be up on our website at kxxv.com a little later tonight. Live in Austin, Grant Herms, News Channel 25.
Provide healing and hope for children who are afflicted by unrelenting seizures caused by epilepsy.
On Monday, Governor Greg Abbott said those words while signing a bill making cannabis oil legal for those suffering from epilepsy.
He's had everything done to him that can be done. And so this was our last hope.
Elaine Reynolds watched her son David grow up with epilepsy. Diagnosed when he was 3, he's had around 12 seizures every night for the last 38 years. And after 3 different surgeries and almost 30 different medications, David says it felt like the end of the line.
It's frustrating, you know. You run out of hope after you've done so much different things that's possible.
The use of the drug is already legal in several states with mixed results. It's classified like prescription medicine and can't get you high. The law signed Monday makes sure the amount of marijuana's active chemical THC is so low it renders it ineffective. And the governor has made it clear this won't be a stepping stone to legalizing marijuana under his watch.
I am hoping more than anything that first it will help with his seizures, decrease the numbers, and then after a while, possibly starting to reduce some of the 20 to 22 pills a day.
But for families like David's, it's a ray of hope after a lifelong battle.
It's our only hope. It really is.
Now, not everyone is so thrilled with the law. It excludes the use of cannabis oils for those suffering from PTSD or cancer, and some medical marijuana groups are saying it just doesn't go far enough for them. But the Reynolds and David are just glad something is happening to help so many that are afflicted. Live in the studio, Grant Herms, News Channel 25.